There is a brutal truth no one wants to admit. In this life, the strong are respected and the weak are dismissed. Not because they are less capable, but because they have not understood the silent game of power unfolding every single day. And if you have ever felt belittled, underestimated, or pushed beyond your boundaries without being able to push back, then this video will change everything. Today, we step into the perspective Machiavelli dedicated his life to uncovering: how humans truly behave in the presence of power, and how you can tilt that balance in your favor. You won't hear shallow, feel-good advice. You will learn to read the subtle signs of disrespect, to make others think twice before crossing you, and to build a presence so sharp that anyone will have to weigh the consequences before daring to challenge you. If you have ever felt overshadowed or overpowered, stay here. Because just a few minutes from now, you will no longer be who you used to be. Disrespect always starts in silence. Disrespect never appears like a slap in the face. It doesn't arrive with shouting, insults, open confrontation. No. It is far more subtle, far quieter, and infinitely more dangerous. It comes in the form of a faintly sinister smile, a narrowed look, a half-joking, half-honest remark, a shrug so slight that no one else notices it, but you can feel the thin blade of it grazing your dignity. Someone who disrespects you will never strike openly at first. They know it's too risky, too revealing. Intelligent people test you with small signals, soft pricks of the needle, sharp enough to see whether you react or not, to determine whether you're someone they can step on. And if you choose to ignore it, if you force a smile, if you tell yourself it's nothing, then in that moment, you unknowingly press a critical button. I am someone you can disregard. That is the beginning of the downfall. Not because you are weak, not because you lack value, but because you have just broadcasted that your boundaries have no guardian, that your dignity is negotiable, that your silence is consent. And the most terrifying part? Once they see you don't react, they will test again. Harder. Deeper. And gradually, you become their target, an emotional punching bag, a testing ground for their power, or a stage for them to display their ego. Most people never realize this. They think they're being tolerant, and they think it's not worth making a fuss. They think silence is noble, but Machiavelli would laugh in their faces. Because he understood human nature better than anyone, humans always test each other, always judge, always look for who can be exploited and who can be led. This is why disrespect always begins with small, delicate, almost invisible signs. Not because it is gentle, but because it is the perfect way to probe your limits without facing consequences. If you react, they retreat and disguise their actions as just a joke. But if you don't, they win exactly what they wanted, a higher position in the power dynamic between you and them. Think back. How many times have you felt something off in the way someone spoke to you, yet you brushed it aside? How many times did you force a smile when you were actually hurt? How many times did you say, "It's okay," when it clearly wasn't? Those tiny moments are the foundation of collapse. And because they are small, silent, and subtle, they are dangerous. People do not guard themselves against small things. They don't defend against needles. But it is those repeated pinpricks that drain the respect others have for you, and worse, drain the respect you have for yourself. Recognizing this is the first step. The step that stops you from being someone's pleasant victim, and the step that begins the rise of a stronger, sharper, unquestionable version of yourself. Respect is not given, Respect must be forced. There is an illusion many people carry throughout their entire lives, that if they are kind, sincere, and treat others with genuine goodwill, they will receive the same in return. But Machiavelli, who observed human nature with cold, unblinking clarity, revealed the opposite truth. Respect has never been a gift someone simply hands to you. It only appears when you force them to give it. Human beings do not cherish what comes easily. A person who is excessively kind, excessively accommodating, excessively forgiving, will never be valued. They become default. Background scenery. Someone others shove aside to pass through without even asking. Not because they lack worth, but because they never set a price for what it costs to treat them well. This is why Machiavelli emphasized that respect must be controlled, maintained, and enforced, just as a ruler must preserve power if they do not wish to be overthrown. If you don't take charge of your own position, someone else will do it for you. And they will not do it in your favor. When someone tests your limits, they are not merely evaluating a single action. They are judging your entire character. They want to know, are you willing to endure it? Do you dare respond? Do you see yourself as someone worthy of respect? If the answer, even unconsciously, is no, then they will never give you what you hope for. Because people only respect what they are forced to respect, not what constantly whispers, "It's fine." In the real world, the most respected person is not the most likable one. It is the one with the clearest boundaries. The one others pause for a second before speaking to. The one who makes people think twice before making a sarcastic jab. The one everyone understands. Crossing the line comes with consequences. What's even more compelling is this: these people don't need to shout, threaten, or flaunt their power loudly. They possess silent power. The kind that makes others self-adjust in their presence. The kind that makes even habitual offenders hesitate before trying anything with them. Why? Because they don't give respect for free. And what is difficult to obtain is always valued more. Look around your life. Who are the people consistently respected? The overly gentle ones who endure everything? Or the quiet but firm ones who are crystal clear about how they expect to be treated? Everyone knows the answer. Humans act by instinct. Without boundaries, they will always push further. Not because they are inherently malicious, but because that is how power psychology operates. And if you don't establish the standard, they will establish it for you. And their standard will always be lower than what you deserve. One of the most transformative realizations in a person's life is this: you do not ask for respect. You force others to respect you, not through violence, not through aggression, but through value, boundaries, and consequences. When you understand this, when you live by this, you become the kind of person the world cannot overlook. Strategic silence, the sharpest weapon of those who refuse to be dismissed. Silence is something most people underestimate until it is used correctly. Many believe that when someone insults them, they must speak up, respond, justify themselves, or strike back immediately. They fear silence because, in their minds, silence equals weakness, defeat, surrender. But reality is the complete opposite. Silence is a primal form of power, one that very few know how to wield. There are two kinds of silence. Weak silence, when you say nothing out of fear, hurt, or sheer inability to respond. Strategic silence, when you choose not to respond, not because you have nothing to say, but because you want the other person to hear the echo of their own behavior. This is the difference between prey and someone who cannot be predicted. When someone throws a sarcastic jab at you, they expect one of two reactions. Either you laugh along like a harmless victim, or you snap like someone easily provoked. But when you stand there calmly, looking at them for a few seconds, with an unchanged expression, offering no reply, refusing to play their game, you plunge their mind into an uncomfortable void. Humans fear the void. They fear extended silence. They fear not knowing what you think, what you feel, or what you will do next. In that moment, the person who insulted you begins to wonder, did I go too far? What are they thinking? What will they do to me? Did I just make a mistake? With just a few seconds of silence, you give them the same unease they tried to plant in you. You flip the entire power dynamic without uttering a word. This is why strategic silence is the weapon of the strong. Imagine a situation. In a group conversation, someone makes a joke at your expense. Everyone laughs. They wait for you to laugh with them. But you simply look straight at the person, face calm, eyes sharp, but not angry, like you're observing an interesting creature. You don't fight back. You don't cooperate. You simply exist with full presence. The laughter around you will fade. Not because you reacted aggressively, but because your energy is strong enough to shift the atmosphere of the entire room. The person who mocked you suddenly becomes aware of their position. And in that moment, they understand you are not someone who can be used as entertainment. The greatest thing about strategic silence is this: you never lose dignity by being silent. But the person who insults you always loses power when forced to face it. Machiavelli once said, "Men fear what they do not understand." Silence is the most incomprehensible thing of all. When you are silent without being weak, you make the other person see something they cannot control. You become an unknown variable. And people fear the unknown, because the unknown can be dangerous, cold, capable of striking back at any moment, or quietly judging them with sharp, merciless eyes. Most importantly, silence never lowers your value. It raises it. The less you speak, the heavier every word you speak later becomes. Practice this. Choose a small situation. When someone throws a disrespectful joke your way, instead of reacting the way you normally do, pause. Look at them. Without expression. Without helping them save face. Without forcing a smile. Let them hear themselves. You will see the shift happen faster than you expect. Ruthless consistency, the foundation of all power. In every power structure, from nations and organizations to personal relationships, the most fearsome force is not explosive strength, but unwavering consistency. One outburst of anger will not make people respect you. One moment of standing up for yourself will not make others treat you better. But the same steady, immutable response to every act of disrespect, that is the true bedrock of authority. Machiavelli understood this flawlessly. He believed humans are like water, always flowing toward the path of least resistance. If your boundaries have 3 tiny cracks, you have no boundaries at all. If today you say, "I won't tolerate this," but tomorrow you look the other way, your words carry no weight. If you only respond when you're furious, but stay silent when tired, people will learn to wait for the right moment. And they will exploit every one of those openings. Ruthless consistency means even the smallest act of disrespect is handled the same as any other. People you like are not given more leniency than those you don't. There is no exception because today I'm tired. But no one, no matter how close, is allowed to cross your line. This may sound cold, but in truth, it is the only antidote that prevents the world from climbing on top of you. Look at the people who are consistently disrespected. They are not treated poorly because they are bad people. They are treated poorly because they are inconsistent. Others don't know when they will react, so they test them. They don't know when they will be tired, so they push them. They don't know when they will explode, so they dismiss them. Now look at someone who is naturally respected. Why are they taken seriously? Why does no one dare joke too far? Why does everyone think twice before speaking in front of them? Because everyone knows this person does not bend, does not waver, does not shift their standards based on emotion. That is the intimidating strength of someone whose principles are solid as stone. A boundary only exists when it is enforced every time it is tested. Not sometimes. Not when convenient. Not when you're in the mood. But every single time. To achieve this ruthless consistency, you need two things. Boundaries sharp as a blade. You cannot protect what you cannot clearly define. Vague boundaries lead to vague outcomes. Identify what kinds of speech you will not tolerate, what behaviors you will never allow toward yourself, what subtle signs of disrespect you consider unacceptable. The clearer the boundary, the easier it is to defend. 2. Consequences applied without fluctuation. I'll let it slide this time. No, but he's my close friend. No, forget it. It's not worth it. Arbitrary forgiveness is the detonator that destroys self-worth. If someone tests you 10 times and you react only 3 times, they will remember. The 7 times you said nothing, not the 3 times you pushed back. Ruthless consistency is not about causing conflict. It is about preventing conflict, because people understand that stepping across your line leads to a guaranteed and unpleasant consequence. This consistency makes people think before they speak, makes them behave politely even when you are silent, makes them respect you even when you are not present. It is a form of silent authority, so powerful that no one dares challenge it. Disproportionate response, the lesson people never forget. Most people react to disrespect by instinct. They respond at the same level. Someone mocks you, you mock them back. Someone throws sarcasm at you, you return the same. Someone cuts you off, you try to speak louder. But these equal reactions, they make no one remember, make no one fear, and definitely make no one respect you. They simply turn the conflict into a balanced exchange. No winner, no loser, and the person who disrespected you learns absolutely nothing. This is precisely why Machiavelli emphasized one razor-sharp principle. The wise do not respond equally. The wise respond in a way that ensures the other person never wants to try again. A disproportionate response is not brutality. It is not violent revenge. It is creating a consequence heavier than the offense, so heavy that the person remembers it as a warning. When someone crosses your boundary, you should not respond to feel fair. You should respond to leave a mark. Why is a disproportionate reaction so effective? It shatters psychological expectations. Those who disrespect you are often used to manipulating people who stay quiet or react weakly. They expect you to laugh it off. They expect you to avoid conflict. They expect you to do nothing decisive. But when you withdraw your presence, when you stop sharing, when you turn cold as ice, when you walk away without a single explanation, you create a disruption their mind cannot decode. The unexpected makes them afraid. 2. It creates an outsized consequence, and consequences are remembered longer than the offense. People often forget what they said, but they never forget the discomfort that follows. You can say something as simple as, "That was disrespectful," then stay silent. You reduce communication. You pull back your natural warmth. You stop granting them access to your generous, open sussel. No yelling. No arguing. Just disappearing from their world for a few beats. When the offender realizes that this coldness lasts days, even weeks, they understand that a single misplaced joke can carry a heavy price. From that moment on, they choose their words in front of you like walking on thin ice. 3. It reestablishes hierarchy. This is the most Machiavellian part. You don't punish to take revenge. You punish to establish position. A proportional response only shows you are defending yourself. A disproportionate response turns you into someone who must never be crossed a second time. It creates a psychological threshold. The moment they think of disrespecting you, they recall the coldness you delivered, and they stop. How to apply disproportionate response subtly. Someone makes a joke at your expense in public. You don't argue. You stare at them for a few seconds, then walk away, leaving them drowning in their own awkwardness. A close friend repeatedly shows up late. You don't scold. You simply stop inviting them, letting them feel what it's like to be removed from your priority circle. A coworker undermines you in a meeting. You don't snap back. You just halt all necessary collaboration afterward, making them wonder, why? All of these are simple consequences, but far heavier than the original offense. Machiavelli once said, "If you must harm someone, do it in a way that prevents retaliation." A disproportionate response is exactly that. Subtle. Cold. Not aggressive, but unforgiving. Not hostile, but absolute. It turns you into someone whose presence others approach with caution, someone whose boundaries feel like stone walls, not curtains flapping in the wind. Building the dark image, power begins with presence. There is a secret the most powerful people all understand. Authority does not come from action. It comes from the image your actions create. In the psychology of power, this is known as the dark aura, a kind of energy that makes others cautious even before you speak. This is not intimidation, not aggression, not an attempt to look strong. It is presence with weight. It is the feeling people get when they look at you, hear you subtly, or simply stand near you. This image is not innate. It is built over time, through your attitude, your reactions, your boundaries, and your consistency. And once it is built correctly, it becomes a natural shield. Almost no one dares disrespect you anymore. 1. Your aura begins with how you enter a space. How do you walk into a room? Quiet but certain, or hurried, nervous, afraid of judgment? Those who carry a dark aura share 3 defining traits. Slow but weighted movement. They are never rushed, never frantic. Their pace signals that they set the tempo, not the crowd. Steady eyes, not glaring. Not challenging, but not avoiding either. A gaze held just long enough for the other person to feel your presence, never long enough to create hostility. Composed posture. Shoulders open, back straight, steps firm. Not defensive, not timid. This is not performance. It is the body language of someone who knows exactly who they are. 2. Voice. Slow. Low. With deliberate pauses. People lacking confidence speak fast, speak excessively, and try to fill every silence. Those with authority speak less, choose their words carefully, and let silence do the rest. A simple sentence delivered in a calm, steady, unhurried voice has more power than a long emotional speech. It creates the impression this person has nothing to prove. And that is the core of power. 3. Emotional control in front of others. You do not explode. You do not become defensive. You do not flinch at provocations. You stay silent, assess, and respond selectively. You never let others read your inner world. Why is this crucial? Because humans fear what they cannot predict. A person calm to the point of coldness makes others weigh every word they choose. 4. Selectiveness creates value. A key part of the dark image is intentional scarcity. You don't overshare. Not everyone has access to you. You don't respond instantly. You don't chase, plead, or seek validation. You are the one chosen, not the one trying to be chosen. This turns your presence into a valuable resource. And when something becomes valuable, it naturally becomes respected. 5. Composure in conflict is the signature of the dark aura. No shouting. No back and forth. No lowering yourself to match the disrespect. You answer with a sharp look, a short sentence, or a cold departure. Observers instantly categorize you as someone you do not pick a fight with. And believe me, this is the category everyone respects from a distance. 6. Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few see what you truly are." In the game of power, what you project is the starting point of respect. When you build the dark image, consistent, calm, unreadable, self-possessed, you no longer need to demand respect. It comes to you naturally, as an inevitable consequence. See insults as intelligence when others expose themselves. Most people react to insults in one of two ways. They get hurt or they get angry. But a Machiavellian mind chooses another path. They observe. Because they understand that every act of disrespect, no matter how small, contains valuable information about the person delivering it. An insult is not just a behavior, it is data, an internal document revealing someone's true nature. In the moment they let slip the wrong words, the wrong look, the wrong attitude, they accidentally expose the parts of themselves they normally keep hidden. Disrespect reflects far more than you might expect. 1. Envy always reveals itself through half-joking remarks. If someone only starts mocking you when you succeed, when you stand out, when you draw attention, this is not an accident. It is envy marking its arrival. People rarely attack someone who poses no threat. The fact that they choose to target you is their admission that you are rising into a position they wish they had. And now, you know something crucial. This is not someone you should share your victories with. 2. Someone who is disrespectful only when you are weak equals a coward. If a person treats you poorly when no one is watching, yet acts kind when an audience is present, you need no further evidence. They do not value you. They only value their image. This is one of the most dangerous types of people because their facade convinces others they are kind. But you have seen their real face, and that knowledge saves you from major mistakes later. 3. Someone who mocks you, but never mocks someone stronger. A climber who wants to stand on your head. If a person never dares joke with the boss, but uses that same joke on you, that alone tells the entire story. They have already ranked you lower in the unspoken hierarchy. No argument is needed. No emotion required. You simply record this as classified intel. This is not someone to trust in work or in meaningful relationships. 4. Someone who gets angry when you set boundaries, equals someone who has been exploiting you. When you say no, when you draw a line, when you stop being easy, those who benefited from your softness will be the first to resist. Why? Because you just cut off their supply line. You're not losing good people. You're losing people who only stayed when you allowed yourself to be stepped on. And that is a victory. 5. Someone whose attitude changes when your status changes. So someone who respects position, not people. If they treat you warmly when you're strong, but turn cold when you're vulnerable, they are no ally. They are opportunists. Understanding this ensures you never entrust secrets, opportunities, or loyalty to someone unworthy. 6. Machiavelli once said, "Keep your enemies close, but first know who your enemies truly are. And to know who is a friend, observe what they do when you succeed. To know who is an enemy, observe what they do when you're vulnerable. To know who is a future traitor, observe what they say when they think you're not listening." Disrespect is the cipher manual for decoding a person. 7. When you treat insults as information instead of emotion, you become untouchable. No one can shake you with a sentence. No one can drag you down with mockery. You stand in the position of the observer, cold, sharp, holding full analytical power. When others reveal their true selves, you do not hurt. You simply feel grateful they exposed themselves early. The psychology of disrespect, the mind map of those who look down on you. One of the greatest mistakes made by those inexperienced in power is misunderstanding the nature of disrespect. They believe that someone insults them because they don't like me, they want to hurt me, or I'm not good enough. But the truth is far more complex and far simpler. Most disrespect is not about you. It comes from the distorted psychology of the person delivering it. Once you understand these motives, you stop being hurt, you stop reacting emotionally, and, most importantly, you know exactly how to respond. 1. Disrespect comes from unhealed insecurity. Insecure people always look for somewhere to dump their inner chaos. They cannot face their own weakness, so they try to elevate themselves by pushing others down. The more successful you are, the smaller they feel. The calmer you are, the more chaotic they feel. The more valuable you are, the more threatened they become. When they insult you, laugh at you, or mock you, what they are truly saying is, "I'm hurting, and I don't know a healthier way to hide it." Once you see this, you realize you were never the target, just the most convenient outlet. 2. Disrespect is often a test of hierarchy. Humans have a built-in instinct for social ranking. They test one another to determine who's above, who's below. A sarcastic remark, a dismissive tone, a subtle mockery. These are all probes in the silent game of power. If you wobble because of a single comment, they place you below them. If you remain calm and unmoved, they begin to doubt their initial assessment. If you respond with cold control, they know they misjudged you. So many acts of disrespect are not attacks, they are tests. 3. Disrespect is the tactic of the weak. Those who are truly strong never need to belittle anyone. They have no time, no need, and no bandwidth in doing so. Only the weak feel the urge to prove themselves by stepping on others. Only the weak fear your strength enough to attack first. Only the weak use words to hide the emptiness inside. Understanding this helps you stop feeling anger. Instead, you simply see their weakness. 4. Disrespect can be a learned strategy for psychological dominance. Sometimes the person isn't insecure. They have simply learned that disrespect equals getting what they want. They seize the right to speak by interrupting. They gain attention by mocking. They gain advantage by pushing you into a defensive posture. This is a habit, nothing more. And like all habits, it only exists if allowed. The weaker you react, the stronger their strategy becomes. The more strategically silent and consistent you are, the quicker they retreat. 5. Those who disrespect others cannot tolerate disrespect themselves. This is the most ironic truth in power psychology. People who insult others are the most fragile when the tables turn. They are used to being the aggressor. They are used to controlling the emotional landscape. They are used to seeing others shaken. But when you don't shake, when you refuse to give them the reaction they want, when you respond with icy indifference, they lose control. You have just severed their only source of power. 6. When you understand the psychology of disrespect, you become immune to manipulation. You stop feeling offended because you realize their actions speak about them, not you. You respond not from emotion, but from strategy. You rise above because you see the entire map, not just the surface. And that is the power possessed by those who truly understand human nature, the ability to see through behavior and spot the motive underneath. When you become someone who is respected naturally, the greatest transformation in life doesn't happen when you fight back against disrespect. It happens when you rebuild the way you exist, forcing the world to adjust how it treats you. This is no longer reactive strategy. This is the restructuring of your entire relationship ecosystem. Not a change made in one day. Not the sudden shift into a cold person. But a deep internal shift, developed slowly and steadily, built on strategic silence, ruthless consistency, clear boundaries, and a profound understanding of human psychology. When these elements combine, you enter a new form of strength, sustainable authority, power that doesn't need to be spoken, yet everyone feels. 1. When you change, the people around you change automatically. At first, some people will try to break your new boundaries. They're familiar with the old version of you, easygoing, tolerant, dismissive of harm. They will try to mock you the way they used to, apply emotional pressure, or use "just kidding" to test whether you've truly changed. But this time, you don't soften. You don't force a polite smile. You don't explain yourself to keep the peace. You respond with the same formula: cold, silent, unwavering. Some will be surprised. Some will be irritated. Some will reveal their true nature. And that is the beginning of natural selection. 2. The wrong people will leave, and that is a gift. Those who once benefited from your softness will find you harder to deal with. They can no longer dump their frustration on you. They can no longer use you to elevate their sense of superiority. So they leave. But you're not losing them. They were never yours to begin with. You're only losing those who could only exist in your life because you didn't protect yourself. Their departure is the first cleansing step. 3. Quality people will move closer. Once you stand firm in your boundaries, something interesting happens. Good, mature, self-respecting individuals begin gravitating toward you. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because they respect your consistency. They appreciate your clarity. They sense your quiet strength that needs no display. These people are not afraid of strong boundaries. They prefer them. They feel safe within them. You've just opened the door for better relationships to enter. 4. Your reputation begins walking ahead of you. When you maintain your standards long enough, people begin talking about you differently. Don't joke too far with that person. They have strong self-respect. They're not someone you can manipulate. You need to be serious when you talk to them. That is invisible authority. But the authority that doesn't need an announcement. Authority others quietly acknowledge. And no one can steal a reputation like that, because it's built through small actions, repeated hundreds of times. 5. When boundaries become a natural part of you, you no longer have to force it. And you no longer wonder, how should I react? You simply live according to your values. At this stage, disrespect no longer shakes you. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't make you question yourself. It just triggers your automatic sequence: assess, distance, consequences. No emotion. No burden. No wasted energy. This is real maturity. 6. And then, respect arrives naturally. Not because you demand it. Not because you act superior. Not because you're aggressive. But because you become the kind of person who can't be disrespected. And when someone cannot disrespect you, they are left with only one option: to respect you. Become the strongest version of yourself. There is a point where every true journey of power converges. You no longer need to try to be respected. Respect becomes the natural consequence of who you are. No more petty tactics. No more reacting to every instance of disrespect. No more forcing yourself to hold the line. Because you are the line. Your presence alone makes others adjust themselves. That is when you know you have evolved. 1. From a disrespected victim to a sharp observer. In the beginning, you feel insulted and hurt. You don't understand what's happening. You stumble, sometimes blame yourself, sometimes stay silent in pain. But through each lesson, each piece of psychological data you gather, you no longer view disrespect through emotion. You see it as a signal, a psychological map, a truth about human nature. You shift from being the victim to being the observer. And when you observe, you hold the power. 2. From emotional reactions to strategic responses. 4. You might get angry, hurt, or try to explain yourself. But now, every reaction is calculated. You choose silence because it destabilizes them. You choose withdrawal because it creates long-term consequences. You choose coldness because it projects authority. You choose consistency because it builds reputation. You are no longer pulled into their game. You dictate the tempo. 3. From seeking acceptance to choosing who earns a place in your life. The greatest shift is simple. You stop chasing. You stop chasing approval. You stop chasing agreement. You stop chasing affection from those who don't deserve it. Instead, you filter with cold precision. Those who treat you right, you open the door. Those who disrespect you, you close it immediately. Those who test you, you let them feel the consequences. You no longer fear losing people. Because you understand, anyone who leaves because you respect yourself was never worth keeping. 4. From easily controlled to unpredictable and untouchable, you become the kind of person manipulators hate encountering. Because you don't react predictably. You don't wobble on command. You're not easy to read, not easy to control, not easy to access. And that creates a dangerous type of power, the power of unpredictability. Others are forced to treat you with caution because they no longer know which line is unsafe. 5. From defensive to naturally authoritative, at the highest level of your evolution, you don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to prove yourself to be respected. You don't need to argue to be acknowledged. Every gesture, a look, a moment of silence, a cold departure, carries weight. You no longer use strategy. You are the strategy. That's when the world stops daring to underestimate you. 6. And finally, you don't just become stronger. You become freer, free from the judgment of others, free from the fear of being misunderstood, free from pleasing everyone, free from toxic relationships, free from the weaker version of yourself you once were. You no longer live to fit in. You live to lead yourself. That is the highest goal of this entire journey. When you become the strongest version of yourself, respect is not something you ask for. Boundaries are not something you have to repeat. Authority is not something you display. They emerge naturally as the inevitable result of someone who knows their worth. You no longer fear disrespect, because anyone who dares disrespect you has long been removed from your life. Never forget the most important lesson of today. Life does not reward quiet sacrifice. It only respects those who protect their dignity. Disrespect doesn't disappear when you ignore it. It grows in exact proportion to what you allow. Machiavelli once said, "The wise do not wait for fortune. The wise create their own position." And from this moment on, that position belongs to you. Remember, strategic silence is a weapon. Consistency is armor. Boundaries are territory. And self-respect is the sharpest sword you own. The world does not respect the silent. It respects the silent ones who make others uneasy. Don't ask for respect. Don't wait for respect. Live as someone whom anyone must respect the moment they step into your space. If you want to become the version that cannot be underestimated, start today. Apply each small strategy, each cold, precise action. Every major transformation begins the moment you refuse to accept what you once allowed. Thank you for staying until the end. If you are ready to become stronger, sharper, and more respected, leave a comment, and we will continue this journey of power together. Remember, people treat you only in the ways you permit, and you deserve far more than that. If today's strategies awakened a stronger version of you, don't let it end at a feeling. Act. Right now. Hit. Like if you want the world to know you are no longer someone to underestimate. Subscribe so you never miss another power strategy, because in the game of life, the one who knows more always wins.